Welcome to our series, Learning from the Experts, 7 Winning Strategies for Building a Successful Data Center Business. Hi, I'm Bruce Taylor with Data Center Dynamics. This series explores challenges executives and managers face when operating a successful data center. In this segment, we shift our attention away from the financial capital and towards something equal to, if not greater in importance, the human capital side of data center management. Joining us today is Scott Lundeen, Regional Director with Schneider Electric's Data Center Service Provider team, and he's speaking with Andy Lane, Managing Director at the executive search firm Stanton. Let's hear what our experts have to say.
Thank you, Bruce. Hi, Andy.
Hi, Scott.
I've had the pleasure of working with you before, and oftentimes in this space, when you're dealing with physical infrastructure, I think it's very important and overlooked to talk about top-end talent that runs that infrastructure or salespeople in this space. And I had some business needs currently. Schneider, big company. You worked with a lot of big companies before. What makes you an expert in this space?
I've been in it 9 years.
Yep.
Started 2006 and was a company called CFS Partners, and recently transitioned to a company called Stanton, which has a global business. It's an immature business and it's becoming global. And yeah, we kind of believe top talent matters.
Yeah, and over the course of our conversations, through your recruiting process, there's usually 3 topics that you usually tackle. Can you explain those 3 topics to me?
Having a plan in place, having a mentality of actively recruiting passive talent, and the third would be when you have that opportunity and all that time invested to close the deal.
Well, let's start with the first topic. You talk about plan in place. Can you dig into that a little bit?
Sure. We have business plans, right? Everybody's responsible for building a business plan, whether it's a functional position or an organization as a whole, but very seldom do you see a lot of time or budget or investment of priorities and time associated with talent acquisition. So we help organizations build talent acquisition plans.
You know, through those plans, you attack or recruit with passive and active recruiting. What do you mean by that?
Well, it's an underemployed market, right? It's a very immature space. It's only been around so long, so there's not a lot of experienced people in the business. It's an overemployed market. So you need to be actively recruiting passive talent versus expecting the active talent out there that isn't working to fill your job positions. So it's for the entire organization and down to the individual hiring authority, a mentality change to be proactive.
Yep. Now you've weeded through candidates. You have a couple eyed maybe. How do you close the deal?
Well, we don't close it. The hiring authority closes it.
That's
and
correct.
you were a great example of that when we worked with you, is your willingness to be physical. We talk about it being a contact sport, and we can only tell the story so far, but you run the business, you represent the organization. So we do all we can to start and build that plan to understand it, but it really takes that at the end of the day when everybody's invested a lot of time, gone through tons of interviews, that when it happens, that the hiring authority is very engaged, very involved in whether it's beer or wine, chocolates, flowers, fireplace, or sitting by the sunset to actually have a visceral conversation about what that individual can mean to the organization, because at the end of the day, it's employment, but it's the individuals that matter. They're making big choices.
Yeah, it was definitely eye-opening for me, and it was a pleasure working with you, and if only it was easy as chocolate.
Yeah, well, you're an example of best practices, so you can be a part of our training process in the future.
So just to reiterate, the 3 things that makes you successful are having a talent acquisition plan,
Yep.
Actively pursuing passive talent, and closing the deal.
Closing the deal, right.
Well, thanks for your time again. Appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Yep.
Pleasure.
Back to you, Bruce.
Thanks, gentlemen, and thank you all for joining us today. I hope you were able to gain new insight and value for your data center business from this conversation. On behalf of Schneider Electric, this is Bruce Taylor for Data Center Dynamics.